You're scrolling, and it hits you again. Someone you went to school with just bought a house. Someone else is engaged. Another one's traveling the world, or running a company, or just visibly, publicly, sorted. And you're sitting there thinking, how is everyone so far ahead of me? Here's the thing. You're not lazy. You did the things you were told to do. You worked, you tried, you kept going. But underneath it all, there's this low, constant hum that you're behind. That everyone got a head start, and somewhere along the way, you missed the gun. I want to show you something about that feeling, because it has almost nothing to do with your actual life. It's a trick of measurement. 3 of them, stacked on top of each other. And once you can see them, the whole thing loosens its grip. I'm Theo. This is the Mind Terrain, where we take the tangled stuff in your head and lay it out, one piece at a time. Today, why you feel behind, even when, by any honest account, you're doing just fine. Because behind is a very specific word. It smuggles in an assumption. It says there's a track, a correct order, a place you were supposed to reach by now, and you're not standing on it. So let's take that feeling apart into 3 pieces: the ruler you're measuring with, the numbers you're feeding it, and the finish line you're racing toward. Because every single one of them is rigged. Start with the ruler. Psychologists have known this since the 1950s. You don't measure your life in absolutes. You measure it against other people. It's called social comparison, and it isn't a character flaw. It's how the mind works out where it stands. Ask yourself, am I doing okay in a vacuum with nothing to compare to? And it's an impossible question. So your brain answers the only way it can. Compared to who? Here's a quick test. Say you earn 70 grand. Are you happy with that? You can't actually answer until you know what the people around you earn. If your friends are on 50, you feel great. If they're on 120, that exact same 70 suddenly feels like failure. Same life, same number, completely different feeling. Because the ruler was never the money. The ruler was other people. And when you compare up to the ones who seem ahead, the research is strikingly consistent. Mood drops, self-esteem dips, and the gap starts to feel like a verdict on you. Look up, feel down. And your entire day is now engineered to make you look up. Which brings us to the numbers you're feeding that ruler. Think about what you actually see of other people's lives. Not the doubt at 3 in the morning, not the boring Tuesday, not the rejection, the overdraft, the silent drive home after the argument. You see the announcement, the keys in hand, the ring, the view from the top. Everyone, everywhere, is showing you their trailer, the 2-minute highlight reel of a 2-year story. And you're comparing that trailer to your own behind the scenes, your unedited, full-length, blooper-included, actual life. Of course you come up short. The comparison was never fair. And the feed tilts it further, by design. It does not show you a representative sample of how people your age are really doing. It shows you the peaks, the winners, the moments worth posting. Study after study lands on the same finding. The harder you're pulled into that upward comparison, the more your sense of your own worth quietly wears away. You're not looking at reality. You're looking at a supercut of everyone's best day and grading your whole self against it. Quick one. If this is landing, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel find people, and it means the next piece finds you. Right, back to it. The finish line. So the ruler is comparison, and the numbers are rigged. Now the finish line. The schedule you think you're running late against. Married by 30. House soon after. Career sorted, kids, the whole sequence in that order by roughly that age. Ask the obvious question. Where did that timetable actually come from? Psychologists call it the social clock, a culturally agreed story about when the big life events are supposed to happen. And the crucial thing about that clock is, it's invented. It isn't biology, it isn't law, it's a social habit, and it moves. The right age to marry, to move out, to have kids has shifted by decades within living memory, and it looks completely different from one culture to the next. Your grandparents' clock is not your clock. Someone your exact age in another country is considered perfectly on time for the very life you feel late for. You are measuring yourself against a schedule that isn't real, that you didn't set, and that most of the world doesn't even keep. So let's put the three together. You feel behind because you're comparing, that's the ruler. You're comparing against a curated highlight reel, those are the numbers. And you're timing it all against an invented clock, that's the finish line. 3 rigged instruments, and the reading they hand you is, you're behind. But that's not a fact about your life, it's a measurement error. And the moment you see that, you get to change what you measure against. Stop comparing sideways to strangers' trailers. Compare backwards to you a year ago. That's the only comparison that's actually fair, because it's the same full-length film, same bloopers and all. And watch out for the quiet lie inside catching up, because the people who hit every milestone dead on time will tell you the same thing. The finish line moved the instant they reached it. There was always a next one. Behind was never a place you could arrive at. It was only ever a direction someone taught you to look. So, you're not behind. There's no track. There's no bell that rings when you're late, because a time was never actually set. There is just your life, moving at the speed a real life moves, unedited, unposted, and completely yours. Next time that hum starts up, that everyone's ahead of you, remember what's really happening. You're holding a rigged ruler, reading rigged numbers against an invented clock. So put it down. You were never in the race you thought you were losing. I'll see you in the next one.